Okay, here's the class exercise that I'd like for you to undertake. This is the most difficult section of the passage that we're going to be working on for the first exegetical paper. This is Ephesians 2:14 through 16. What I would like for you to do in the time that you have left is first review your clausal layout to make sure that you have appropriately identified the clauses. Maybe that you haven't had a chance to look at the feedback yet. If not, just take a few minutes to do so that you can make sure you know what clauses are what. And then the next thing I want you to do is to create the subject complement statements. So let me highlight a clause and I'll walk you through how to do this. This particular clause right here, poion irenein, is a single adverbial participial clause. Just two words. There's a couple of them that are even one word, but this is a clause unto itself. So in your outline, this should have a line by itself, and the adverbial participle poion is going to be indicated, highlighted as the big structural element. Now we need to remind ourselves, what is the grammatical classification here? We classify this as a participle of result. That's very important. So I'm dealing with this particular clause, poion irenein, and this is a participle of result. Now here's what we need to remember. When we deal with a dependent clause, the subject is going to be the grammatical force plus what it modifies. So let's get those out here. So let me kind of make this really, really clear by taking a few notes a little bit down the page. So for poion irenein, the grammatical force is result. What does it modify? The idea of creating the two in him into one new man. So what it modifies, can't type. The idea of creating the two into him into one new man. So let's think about how the subject would be made. So for a dependent clause, I'm going to take the grammatical force and add to it the content that is modified. So that would be the result of Christ making, let's be specific, Jew and Gentile into one new man. Do you see what I've done? I've taken the grammatical force, I have added to it the content that is modified, what it points to, and that is my subject. So that's what I want you to do. That's the first thing, the subject. But we need to make the complement. And so for a dependent clause, the complement is the content of the clause itself. So what is the content of poion irenein? It is making peace. So now let's put this into a sentence that gives enough detail and puts it all together. So my subject complement statement would run like this. The result of Christ making Jew and Gentile into one new man is the making of peace between them. So that's the classroom exercise that I want you to do. I want you to make the subject complement statements for all of the clauses in verses 14 through 16, using what I've just now done as an example. I realize this is the more challenging part of the exegetical outline, which is why I wanted to spend some class time on it. And when I come back next Tuesday, what we will do is actually look at this again, work through a couple more examples, and talk about how we would do this. Now, let me again just recap why this is important. You're going to do this exercise for the entirety of every clause in your layout. That's the foundation of it. You have to have good subject complement statements of every clause in the layout in order to get started. Then we will make the logical groupings and organize them into further statements that summarize and show the flow of the argument. But we've got to start here. All right, so I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you when I come back.